So we have two inbound hoppers going into the siding here. Pull it out. That hopper. Stop it. Just clear the switch. Switch thrown. Then we're coming up to the other hopper here. Give it a little more juice. So this is my test track here, my staging yard, also known as Armstrong yard. Or, sorry, not Armstrong, Armfield yard. This HO scale Bachmann 45-ton switcher is going to be touched up, and some more details will be done to make it become YOLO Shortline 50-tonner 50. I have a Missouri Pacific hopper and a Southern Pacific TNO hopper. Up here, this is a C and EI, as you can tell, Chicago and Eastern Illinois, 40-foot boxcar. Right behind that, I have a SP bulkhead flat. This 060 six-coupled switcher with Vanderbilt tender, lettered right now for Southern Pacific as 1277, will become YOLO Shortline 1233. As for this round arched passenger car, it is lettered for Southern Pacific, and the number, I believe it says so on here. I don't know if you can read that, but it looks like a 4 in there. I've got a MKT flat gondola with a scrap yard load, which I will be modifying eventually. I have this economy baggage car built in 1966 for the Southern Pacific. It will be painted into the YOLO Shortline number, or YOLO Shortline baggage car concession car 601. Then I have this Atlantic Coastline coach car, which will become YOLO Shortline's Woodland coach, also either 702 or 701. I have an SP caboose here. Number is 1179, will become 1156. Another Missouri boxcar here. Southern Pacific hopper. A GVSR air slide. Hydro cushion SP. And an Engelhard tank car. For the letter reporting mark will be reporting mark is UTLX 25495. I have SP 699621, Missouri Pacific boxcar 50-foot. Looks closer to 60-foot almost. And then I have a Southern Pacific boxcar behind that. I have this gondola, which I somehow ripped the coupler off of. A Southern Pacific GP40, which will become YOLO County Railroad. I haven't come up with the number scheme yet. I have a Peterbilt truck, because I drive Peterbilt trucks for my company. I have a Lego train back there. And then this is Sierra Pacific and Western 562. Looks like 5261 or 5268. Cannot really read the number. I actually got that at a train show. Probably at Sacramento. Well, this is my layout starting to come together. I have built this structure here. Started with the 2x4s that you see on the frame here. Then I decided to take the plywood, cut it midway down the length, and then fixed this 2x4 underneath it. Took out the screws, fixed the 2x4s for the footing, and then for the footing I also created some leftover plywood from a box that was meant for carrying FlexiTrack. For the other support stand, I also built a smaller version. Plywood's a little bit wider in the horizontal frame here. 2 screws, one's under here, another one under here. Got this one here, and I've got one here, as you see. Underneath that, same as the other way. Fix the 2x4s to first 2x4 to the frame to the plywood. Unscrewed the plywood. Drilled holes into the plywood to go into the 2x4s, and then so on and so forth. I have the layout behind the computer. I have this. I believe this is Bachmann track. So far, I'm still working on a track plan here. I might have to start dropping here to allow a more gentler grade. But I've got a switch. It's going to come out to another switch. And then over here, I believe I'm going to have a line going out this way to become part of the helix. And this will be not really your average helix. I haven't really got to working on it. But the plan is to have it come off of this switch here, come down and follow, and maybe make 2 loops tie into the main line. And this will be the main line going all the way around to the top level here. I might have a switch around this area and have one track going into a quasi station area, which I have HO scale Greyhound buses. As you can see, I've got I believe this is a PD. I don't remember the names, the names of that particular class. But I have a Scenic Cruiser. Right next to the Scenic Cruiser is looks like an HO scale J or D 4500 class Greyhound built by MCI. Then I have this Prevost what's the number? Prevost X345. X3-45. And I have driven this style of bus, and I've driven this style of bus, and personally I prefer the Prevost because the driver's cab is much more driver friendly. There's newer features versus the D class. Anyways, going back to this, the main layout, I'm still going to have to work on scenicking it, and there's going to be, as you can see, there's limited space between the plywood, which ends right here, and I've got maybe 2 inches of room to play with. I might have I'll have removable sections of foam board that I'm going to have to fix and work on. Brand new Dremel. The plywood and the helix, I'm still working on how I'm going to fit that all together, but the 2 levels should be straightforward. I'm gonna have to hope that it's not gonna be too steep of a gradient for my my models. I have that this Rock Island boxcar, which I've actually fixed on this siding here, which I've created just for um, space purposes. I had to design a bracketing system underneath and have it go underneath the or above the base, the headboard of my bed. And I also made the length so I can at least allow at least one locomotive or two locomotives. Eventually, this will all be DCC, which is digital command control for those of you who do not know what DCC is. The siding is designed so it can fit at least one whole passenger train. Now, due to the limitations, the helix is going to be a 15-degree radius, or a 15-inch radius, which means I won't be able to run every single car, especially not the anything longer than maybe 60 feet. That Atlantic Coastline coach car that I have may or may not fit due to the diaphragms, which means I might have to remove the diaphragms. Down here, or well, yeah, let me go back over here. I'm going to have an industry, which is why I have this switch coming off here. It's going to probably go over into this corner or in this section here. Maybe fit one boxcar and then another boxcar, but I haven't got that far yet, evidently. And then I'll have, as for the station and end of the track, end of the line, I'm still working out the details. Now down here, I'm going to have a scrapyard. So adjacent to the helix line, which will go upwards, I'm going to also have a line coming off or to the side of the helix and then branching off into a small scrapyard. I still have some stabilization efforts to work on because oh man, that's crooked. I'm going to have to modify this in the future, and as well as that over this bracket here is still not stabilized. I might have some screws that I can use for that, but I have to fix a washer to it. Apart from that, oh yeah, and then down here I'm also going to have another industry over in this corner, and then industry here. The industry over here will be Gellin Brothers Brewery, and then over here will be a general merchandise place for my box cars, and maybe I might have room to fit a small tank loading facility. Well, thank you for watching this ongoing effort to build a very, very, very tiny model railroad layout in my bedroom. Stephen Gellin signing off.